The moment you react, you lose control. But the moment you pause, you reclaim power. Most people never learn the difference, and that's why they keep losing what matters most. Opportunities vanish, relationships burn, peace dissolves, all in the heat of an impulse. We live in a world that rewards quick reactions. Comment fast, clap back, prove your point. But strength isn't in speed, it's in stillness, because the man who can pause owns himself. Think of a warrior, blade drawn, yet unmoved. The storm around him rages, but inside. Silence. That silence is power. It's what turns chaos into clarity. You can't control the world, but you can control your response to it. And that's what separates the powerful from the powerless. So why do we still live trapped in reaction mode, letting every emotion pull the strings? Let's break that down. Before we dive in, take a second. If you're someone who's serious about mastering your mind and building real inner control, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Living in reaction mode. Reaction is emotional autopilot. It's the mind's default when awareness is absent. It's the ego whispering, "You must respond now, or you'll look weak." So we do. Fast, loud, unfiltered. We fire off words we later wish we could swallow back. We make decisions fueled by fear of losing control, not realizing we already have. Reactivity is subtle. It doesn't always look like shouting. Sometimes it's withdrawal, the cold silence after an argument. Sometimes it's the endless overthinking after reading a text that didn't get an emoji. Sometimes it's the quiet resentment you carry like armor, convincing yourself you're calm, when really you're just suppressed. Reaction is chaos disguised as righteousness. It feels powerful, but it's just ego in panic mode. And the ego is terrified of stillness, because stillness means surrendering control. Every time you react, you trade power for comfort. You give away your composure to protect your pride. And each time, the habit grows stronger. Your mind learns that emotions, not wisdom, drive the wheel. Think of it like a fire alarm that never stops ringing. Even when there's no smoke, your body still burns. That's what chronic reactivity feels like. Your nervous system living in permanent defense. But here's the truth the world rarely tells you. You're not reacting to what happened. You're reacting to what you believe it means about you. That's the trap. Someone insults you. You don't feel pain because of their words. You feel pain because your ego translates it into proof that you're not enough. A delay in response becomes rejection. A critique becomes humiliation. A disagreement becomes war. The reaction isn't about reality. It's about identity. There's a reason Stoics called this the slavery of emotion. When the world can provoke you, it owns you. You become a puppet. Your strings pulled by every trigger, every tone, every notification that dings in your pocket. That's not power. That's dependency. And it's why peace feels so rare in this generation. Because silence, reflection, restraint, they're seen as weakness. But they're the foundation of mastery. Most people will never pause long enough to notice the gap, that small space between what happens and how they respond. They fill it instantly with noise, pride, fear, and every time they do, they lose another piece of their freedom. Reaction is chaos. Response is control. One is ruled by emotion, the other is guided by awareness. But if reaction is the problem, if it costs us peace, progress, and purpose, then what's really happening inside us when we lose control? Why does the mind default to chaos instead of calm? Why it hurts. The hidden cost of reacting. Every reaction drains something from you. Energy, focus, trust. You feel it physically, your heart pounding, your breath shallow, muscles tight. That's not emotion, that's biology. When you react, your brain's amygdala, the part built for survival, takes control. Logic shuts down. The body floods with adrenaline. You're no longer thinking, you're defending, and defense doesn't build, it destroys. In that split second, your brain believes you're under attack, even when it's just a disagreement, a delay, or a tone you didn't like. It mistakes discomfort for danger. So it fights, flees, or freezes, and afterward, when the chemicals fade, all that's left is regret. Reaction doesn't just damage your peace, it erodes your reputation. People stop trusting your composure. They start walking on eggshells. Your words carry less weight because everyone's waiting for your next explosion. And even when you're right, your reaction makes you wrong. Because emotion without discipline turns truth into noise. The worst part isn't what you say. It's what happens after. The guilt, the replay, the self-blame. You tell yourself, I shouldn't have done that. But the mind doesn't forget easily. It loops, trapping you between anger and shame. That loop drains more than your energy. It steals your confidence. You start to question yourself. Why can't I stay calm? Why do I lose control? And every time you ask, you reinforce the belief that you're powerless. But you're not. You've just trained the wrong muscle. Reaction instead of response. A Stoic once said, "He who angers you conquers you." Elizabeth Kenny. It's not poetic, it's biological truth. When anger takes over, you hand someone else the keys to your nervous system. They don't just change your mood, they control your actions, your focus, even your heartbeat. And when you think about it, there's no greater loss of freedom than that. So yes, reacting feels powerful in the moment. It's raw, it's loud, it feels real. But it's short-lived, because every reaction that isn't chosen leaves a wound, invisible but deep. You lose trust from others. You lose trust in yourself. And eventually, you start mistaking chaos for passion, confusion for strength. Reaction is fire. Response is direction. One burns everything, the other lights the way. But the truth is, we can't erase our triggers. The world won't stop testing us. So the real question isn't how do we avoid reaction. It's how do we shift from reacting to responding. The shift. The space between reaction and response. This is where transformation begins. In the space between what happens and how you respond. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the unimaginable, once said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space is your battlefield. It's invisible, but every victory of the mind happens there. The truth is, calm is not weakness. It's strategic strength. Weakness is reacting to everything. Strength is being able to choose what deserves your energy. Society glorifies reaction. Speak your mind. Clap back. Show them who you are. But that's not power. That's performance. Real power is restraint. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself. The calm man in the storm isn't detached. He's focused. While others drown in noise, he's scanning for direction. That's not passivity. That's precision. This is where philosophy meets neuroscience. The Stoics taught presence, awareness without attachment. Science calls it emotional regulation. Mindfulness calls it observation. Different names, same truth. When you slow down, your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, comes back online. Logic replaces impulse. Perspective returns. That's how awareness rewires reactivity into response. To train this shift, you must practice noticing the moment before the reaction. The tightening chest, the raised tone, the restless hands. That's your signal. That's the doorway to mastery. Each pause you take weakens the old pattern. Each breath you control rewrites the code in your nervous system. And over time, reaction loses its grip. Not because life got easier, but because you became stronger. Calm isn't the absence of emotion. It's the discipline to direct it. And once you taste that kind of control, chaos no longer intimidates you. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. So how do you build that discipline every day until response becomes your natural state? Let's break it down, step by step, into 3 pillars, building the muscle of response. The mind is a muscle, and response is strength. To train it, you follow 3 pillars. Pillar 1. Awareness. Catch the trigger before it catches you. Awareness is the moment the fog lifts. It's the second you notice you're being pulled into reactivity and choose not to go. You can't control emotions that you refuse to see. The untrained mind reacts instantly. The trained mind recognizes the rise. Most people would honk, shout, curse the sky, but awareness whispers, "This isn't about them. It's about me." That's the first win. Not reacting doesn't mean ignoring emotion. It means observing it. Emotion is data, not direction. Start by naming what you feel: anger, embarrassment, fear. Labeling an emotion activates the prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain. It's how you move from chaos to clarity in real time. Make it a daily drill. Pause 3 times a day and ask, what am I feeling right now? No judgment, just observation. Because self-awareness is self-defense. And the man who can watch his thoughts without becoming them is untouchable. Pillar 2. Regulation. Control the body. Calm the mind. Once awareness opens the door, regulation walks you through it. The body is the instrument your mind plays through. If you can slow the rhythm of your body, the mind follows. 1. Breathing. The most ancient form of control. Navy SEALs use box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. It's simple, but it rewires your nervous system on command. Because when breath slows, the amygdala quiets, the storm subsides. 2. Label the emotion aloud. Say quietly, I'm angry. I'm anxious. You'd be surprised how naming emotion disarms it. It turns chaos into a concept, something you can hold, not drown in. 3. Practice physical stillness. When your body stays calm, your mind catches up. Try this. When tension spikes, freeze. Unclench your fists, drop your shoulders, breathe. Stillness is power disguised as patience. Daily practices to build regulation, journaling. Each night, write the moments you almost reacted and what triggered it. you'll start seeing patterns. Silence. Spend 10 minutes daily with no noise, no screens, just breathing. You'll realize how loud your mind is and how to quiet it. Slow mornings. Don't start your day with notifications. The first hour is your foundation. Protect it. These small rituals condition your mind to live in awareness, not reaction. Because how you start your day determines who controls it, you or the world. Pillar 3. Response. Act with intention, not impulse. Awareness lets you see. Regulation helps you steady. But response? That's where mastery lives. Response is about choice. It's not silence. It's precision. It's saying the right thing at the right time for the right reason. The 3-second rule. Before you reply, whether in a text, conversation, or argument, count to 3. In those 3 seconds, you give your rational brain the chance to lead. You'll be amazed how often your first reaction isn't your best one. Reframe, don't react. Ask yourself, what's actually being said? What outcome do I want? Will this matter in 10 minutes, 10 days, or 10 years? That's how you turn emotional noise into intentional clarity. When monks train their minds, they don't eliminate emotion. They study it. They practice detachment not as escape, but as discipline. They understand that stillness doesn't remove life's noise. It simply makes it less powerful. The Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every morning, they imagined the worst that could happen: loss, rejection, chaos. Not to live in fear, but to build resilience. So when the storm came, they didn't flinch. They had already lived it in their minds. Modern soldiers and negotiators use the same principle. They rehearse crisis before it happens. So when it does, their response is already trained. The situation may be unpredictable, but their mindset isn't. That's the secret. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. And if you've trained response, calm becomes your reflex. Responding doesn't mean being passive. It means acting with clarity. It's the discipline to use emotion as fuel, not fire. It's the awareness to know what's worth your peace and what isn't. Over time, you'll notice the change. Fewer regrets, sharper focus, stronger presence. People trust your composure because you've earned it. And more importantly, you start trusting yourself again. To train your mind to respond, not react, is to take back ownership of your life. You stop being a slave to triggers. You stop bleeding energy on things that don't matter. And you start walking through chaos with quiet confidence, like a warrior who's already won the battle within. The truth is, you'll still feel anger. You'll still face stress, but now you'll meet them on your terms. Because mastery isn't the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. And once you learn that, no one can take your peace from you again. You've seen what happens when you react, and how awareness turns chaos into calm. But all of this means nothing unless you live it daily. So let's bring it home. The mindset, the lesson, and the final truth that ties it all together. The difference between chaos and clarity is a single breath. One breath before you speak. One breath before you act. That's where power lives. Not in control of the world, but in control of yourself. Reacting is slavery to anger, to ego, to impulse. Responding is mastery, calm in motion, strength without noise. It's the discipline to stand still while everyone else chases emotion. Every pause is a victory. Every moment of silence is a declaration. I choose peace over panic. I choose direction over reaction. Because in the end, life will always test your composure. But if you've trained your mind, no test can take your power. So remember this: you don't need more time, more motivation, or more control. You just need one breath. Train your mind, or the world will train it for you. If this spoke to you, start with one pause today, and watch how much power that silence holds. See you in our next video.